Hey everyone, you're tuning into Ahead of the Spread, the Closing Line Values new weekly show where we talk all things sports. Joining me today is my buddy Jose, helping me find the closing line value.
What's up?
First up, let's jump into some news. The biggest news of the week, Indiana football, national champions. How about that? Curt Cignetti, 4 years at James Madison, pivots to a Big Ten school, one of the most losing schools in college football history. In just a few short years, turns it into a national title competing team. Just crazy. In this NIL era too. What do you think?
The stat that stood out to me, just putting it in historical context, but only one other time a team has gone 16-0 in a football season. Do you know who that was and when? Did you see that stat? Yale in 1894. So only two teams in college football history have ever gone 16-0. That's pretty significant, right?
Absolutely. It doesn't happen. And obviously the college football playoff has expanded the duration of seasons with more games played, but still for this never to be done since then when of all teams, Yale was the last team to do it is pretty astonishing. And it's crazy. The players that Cignetti has on his team are a lot of the guys that just wouldn't even cut it on some of the other Power 5 teams, ranked 65th in Virginia, running back, Tech and UVA don't offer the guy, and he ends up being a superstar on the Hoosiers team. So it's really interesting to see how money is just playing such a huge part in the NIL and transfer portal and college football. Yet Cignetti goes to Indiana and just transforms his team. Not overnight, but as short of a turnaround as you possibly can get, it feels like.
Yeah. Not to be Ted Lasso, but there is something to be said for leaders putting together teams that completely buy into what's going on. And I don't know that Indiana seems like a team to me that every single person in that complex was fully bought in to what's taking place. And I think it starts with Cignetti's his confidence and his cockiness and his swagger, Google me, as a player, I have to imagine that that's fun to be a part of, and it's easy to buy into all of that. So it's he's gone in and put in an incredible system, and in such a short amount of time has put them at the top at a historically relevant season. That's pretty impressive.
Yeah, absolutely. And they just did it in such a convincing fashion, just blowing out Alabama, beating Ohio State, beating a good Oregon team twice, once without any sort of question who was the superior team. And they just didn't seem to have many weaknesses. They just, across the board, very disciplined, talented, getting it done.
And I think the discipline in particular is a result of being bought into what's taking place and accountability. And you don't want to you're going to give your all every single moment because you know that the guy next to you is going to give his all, because you're all doing this thing together. So that's, that's important to know. It's a pretty really well coached and just effectively executing team. They were in a good place. A good time to be a Indiana football fan right now.
Absolutely. And it's going to be interesting to see all the teams trying to replicate that now.
Yeah. Yeah. And what's also nice about it is Cignetti's not looking to make the next move. He's I'm here and we're going to do this. At least yet, he doesn't seem interested in doing that college football coaching carousel that's just chasing the highest paycheck. So that's kind of nice to see. Who knows how long that will last, but still, it's nice to see at least early that that's where he's at. Last 3 national championships,
Big Ten,
all from the Big Ten.
Yeah. So yeah, that SEC dominance. They got worked in bowl games as a whole. So we'll see. Did the playing field get evened with NIL and transfer portal? Now that things are a little bit more to the surface, just a little bit of luck. I don't know. It was pretty convincing and damning against the SEC this last season. Seeing how they performed against other Power 5 conferences in bowl games.
So how do you explain that? How do you explain that? What do you think is going on?
I think a lot of it is, the NIL and transfer portal effect. I think now that things are just a little bit more above board, I guess, it's not just, backroom handshakes and money being exchanged. It's just, I think now that it's more open, it's this is the contract that this guy got to play at this school. I think it's just open. It's open game at this point. So
yeah, the playing field has been leveled.
Yeah, absolutely. And a lot of these Big Ten schools have a lot of, resources and, alumni that can afford to throw some cash at the NIL budget.
But here's the thing: a level playing field still means that SEC has an opportunity to succeed. If it's a level playing field. So what is taking place in the Big Ten that's not taking place in the SEC?
This is a great question. We can. There's kind of things that I'm when it comes to college basketball, it's very similar. Where you can't just throw money and things work. So, you have to have a good program, right? You have to have good coaching.
Is that the Kentucky?
That's the
Kentucky lesson. Although,
yeah, but on the flip side of that, Michigan has thrown some money at some players. Kept Yaxel from going to the NBA. He was going to be a mid-round pick and transferred from UAB to Michigan, and is just he's finding a way to make it work. And that's 5 new starters on a Michigan squad, and that Michigan squad's just destroying teams in non-conference play. Conference play coming back down to earth a little bit, but still a really good team. So, yeah, I think pivoting back to the football thing, it's not just the money, it's having the system in place, the good coaches and whatnot. So you can't just throw money at players, get them at your team, and then expect them to win games. A&M, I think, had the biggest budget, or one of the biggest budgets, the past couple of years, or maybe years prior, and they couldn't really get it done right.
Yeah, but the SEC has great coaches. There are great coaches in the SEC.
Yeah. One team wins.
I'm just really curious, why is the Big Ten better in football than the SEC? That's because for much of the last decade or 2 decades, is the SEC is the greatest thing. It's the premium sports conference or sports league in college sports, but it's kind of not anymore. And so what happened to is it just at the level that the playing field got leveled and other players have an opportunity to excel in it, which is probably what's going on. It doesn't need to be any deeper than that, right?
Yeah, I think so. Just at the end of the day, some of these schools haven't won a championship in forever or in a minute. Michigan's been a minute. Ohio State, they obviously have been competing at a top level for a minute, but they were able to win 2 years ago, or last year, excuse me. So I just think the playing field is leveled for sure. Pivoting off of the feel-good story of Indiana, on the flip side of the college basketball scene, the massive betting scandal that hit. It's not really that big of a surprise, but 26 different people charged with fixing games to some degree, including former players, professional bettors, just across the NCAA Division I games. Just kind of wild. Number one, are we surprised
that something like this happened? No, I'm not. Are you?
I mean, not really. I mean, but like, I mean, I think the thing that surprises me is that people expect to not get caught. You know, you see someone betting, you know, DePaul first half and, you know, dropping 30K on them to like not cover the first half spread. Just feel like, you know, that's a little bit of a red flag. And like Vegas knows all, right? Like they're watching. You think that they don't know?
But they don't. But Vegas itself isn't invested in fixing that problem.
Yeah, they are. They definitely report some of this stuff to the NCAA and to their respective teams, and I'm not sure exactly that full process, but they're in the mix with bringing this to light.
Yeah, I mean, I know that there's cooperation and that they're working together because Vegas's interest is in keeping gambling legal.
Yeah,
sports betting in particular legal. So they do have to try to rein things in to a certain extent. But if that didn't matter, Vegas is always going to come out like to the better. Sure. So they don't give a shit, you know. Yeah, everybody's acting out of self-interest right now. But anyway, just aside from that, I'm not surprised that this happened. There's probably other stuff going on right now that we don't know about. Right. So 100%. It's kind of ugly. And it's like just thinking about the particulars of how they did this. Right. So they would take low major games and then they would place a bet on like the first half. Like if you're gonna attempt to bury bets, like hide them in plain sight, that's where you're going to do it, right? Yeah.
Full game bets probably a little bit harder. And plus you can, you know, if you're tanking the first half, you can bounce back the second half. Like that's the thing that happens in sports, right? Like teams come out a little sluggish, a little slow. But
from a player perspective, right? Because that's who ultimately like executed this, right? So from a player perspective, it's easy to explain away like poor play in that moment. Nobody really is going to think twice about it. So like they really like surgeons went in and exploited and these kids aren't making any money. These are kids not at big NIL schools. So is the solution? And as somebody you like to bet on the low major and the mid major games.
I've bet some of them before, but definitely never anything of like major like unit size at all. And had some, you know, wavering success, but then some things you can explain away. Like you see a team, you know, a Power 5 team lose to another one, and you know they were still 15-point favorites, but they lost. You know, Wisconsin at Michigan. Like you would think Michigan would be able to take care of that team, and probably 19 out of 20 they do, but watching that game in Vegas with you, of course, we saw a Wisconsin team just light up, you know, and they were just hitting shots. They were out rebounding, out hustling. So like you can see that in a Power 5 game, but when you bet these, you know, Ken Pom 200s or 300s, it's like there's no one in the stands, and you know, and like you had said, there's not these aren't big NIL or any, and I guess I don't know what kind of money that they're getting.
It's not anywhere close that you're getting at a high mid major and above.
Yeah. But I mean, I saw some of those text exchanges, you know, getting like, you know, get your talk to someone else and let them know that they can get on it too. You know,
no, my favorite quote was, do I have it up? No, I don't. It was about only thing guaranteed in life is death, taxes, and Chinese basketball.
Yeah. There was a random Chinese basketball game in there too.
You know, this is a serious topic, of course. Yeah. But that's a pretty elite text message, I think.
Oh, it's so good. They I know they paid like around like 10K to 30K in bribes per game. And now and while these weren't prop bets, I mean, we saw some of this happen even with baseball, where first pitch ball, like the Cleveland pitchers, I think multiple pitchers got banned for the season for that. And, those are prop bets that are, more easily manipulated. You don't have to you don't have to get the whole team on, or like, what if your team is playing lights out? Like you could, so the prop bets, like over and under on player performances, it's going to be interesting where the future of that ends up in college sports specifically, but kind of across the board, because one player can just, dictate that if they are in on it. Right.
Also, the first thought that I have is like, we should be at a point where we're just treating college sports, college athletics, as just another professional sports league. The notion of the student athlete, going to college, to get a degree and also play sports, that's gone. Now we've got players dipping back and forth between professional sports leagues and college sports. It's just another big time sports league. It's a pro league,
developmental league,
right?
basically. It's like the G League.
Yeah,
kind of. It's a minor league system.
That is just incredibly valuable.
Yeah.
So if you're going to allow prop bets on players in the NBA, why wouldn't you allow prop bets on players in the college sports, right?
I don't know what the answer is. It's going to be interesting. Prop bets, we're going to see more. We're definitely going to see more and more, especially at the collegiate level, but also on the pro level. We saw it in the NBA, MLB, an all-star closer, got in trouble for doing this. That's crazy.
Okay, so what do we do? What has to happen next?
I would imagine that there's going to just be more involvement, cross major sport organizations with government, with Vegas, with some of these sports leagues. I feel like there's going to be, I don't think there's a smoking gun in this situation. I think it's happening, and don't know what the future holds with that. Like you said, used to dabble in some of those super low, mid-major Ken Palm 300 teams. And it was fun because you had some, you had $5 on the game kind of thing or whatever. But, now whenever we're looking at all right, I want to win, obviously you want to win. I want to win bets. Well, maybe dabbling in those low, Division I teams is not the recipe for success.
Yeah.
So, how we approach Vegas, we talked about it and keyed in on a few Power 5 games, and obviously Power 5 can be, I'm sure there's some questionable team. I mean, DePaul was in the list, although they're fringe Power 5, right?
I sometimes forget that DePaul even exists.
Yeah, I mean, I think people at DePaul think that too. No, but I just think we'll see, and I think you just got to be smart about what you're betting, but.
Yeah, so you just kind of you keep it to the Power 5, because there's just too many eyeballs.
Yeah.
On it for there to be
yeah.
You haven't seen anything that's concerned you.
Yeah, and not only that, they're not playing. Getting a $20,000 one-off to throw a first half, for someone at like I said, one of those low Division I teams versus someone that's probably getting some NIL money or trying to make the league, things like that. They're less probably susceptible for that. Moving on to the NFL coaching carousel, we've seen just a litany of departures from a lot of different teams. I think more than I've ever really recalled seeing. And, a lot of first-year coaches also, losing their jobs. But we've got Mike Tomlin gone at the Steelers. We've John Harbaugh at from the Ravens, the Titans coach, the Browns coach. I mean, we got
how much do you think that John Harbaugh is regretting signing with the Giants right now?
I don't know, man. I mean, they got that young core. They got Dart, they got Scatterbo, they got.
I mean, if you had to pick, you take the Bills over the Giants.
Okay, so that's a different question. Yeah, I mean,
that's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying. Like, it's the timing is unfortunate for him that he didn't have an opportunity to consider both positions, but he would almost be like he'd be a pretty good fit in Buffalo, would he not?
I think so, but I mean, like, yes and no. I mean, maybe he's not upset because McDermott got the axe, and the blame really falls on their GM. I mean, like, Beans was
not according to what the owner said today. Did you see that?
Yeah, I did. It's ridiculous. Like them talking about Keon Coleman, who I love. Keon Coleman went to Michigan State and Florida State, but like, you know, they're just like, yeah, we're, you know, his draft stock drop. We'll still take him. That's good for us. That's good for us. And it's like, you guys were all in on this guy. He, you know, on Keon. Keon doesn't pan out, unfortunately, as of now, still young, right? But Keon doesn't work out. McDermott says, "Hey, we need more talent on this roster. That's why we fell a little bit short of our goals." And they say, "Oh, that's the reason you're gone." I mean, kind of dysfunctional. So like to circle back on the Harbaugh comment, why would Harbaugh want to go to that? You know. At the Giants, I mean, you know, they've got a passionate fan base that's bought in. They've got some of the core young talent enough, at least, to start that process of rebuilding. You know, rookie contracts are so huge. You know, taking over a team with a quarterback that's at the end of a rookie contract is not easy because then you're so hamstrung on signing anyone else, you know, lines and defensively and everything. So I think Harbaugh's probably happy where he's at right now. I am curious though. I think this was an interesting hire. Mike McDaniel at the Chargers. He, you know, decided not to go to the Browns, said thanks but no thanks, and went to a offensive coordinator role where, you know, he can thrive. And I feel like far too often any coordinator sees a head coaching gig and that can get it and they sign, and it's just, you know, 2-3 years of just bottom of the barrel team and you can't get over the hump and then you're cut. So it's like, why not stick with the team that you're a good fit for? Like, fit should matter, it seems like. Don't you think?
I like Mike McDaniel. I know that he rubs people the wrong way, but I find his rise interesting, and like I think he's fun. Yeah. So he just has like a fun energy. Like, is he a great coach? I don't know. I don't know that I'm ready to judge him based on what happened in Miami, because I think, like, you know, he did the best that he could with what he was given. Yeah. And you know, I think it's what I'm excited about is to see him and Justin Herbert like cooking. Like, that has a potential in Los Angeles, like on a Jim Harbaugh team, like that has the potential to be a lot of fun.
Yeah, I mean, I was chatting with some friends
if the
about
Chargers
that.
Can stay healthy, like
if they can, I mean, they've got to get offensive line help. Like, Herbert was scrambling for his life half of that game. I mean, the 4 or 5 games that all their right tackle stayed healthy, they won all the games. So yeah. I mean, like, it's just if he's in there, if they have a line, I feel like they have a chance. And so they have to be investing heavily in free agency and the draft and offensive line. And I like I said, one of my group chats, I was saying, like, I'm going to keep a close eye on the Chargers Super Bowl, you know, future ticket, just because that might be worth a pretty good buy with, you know, competent coach, good quarterback, solid defense, good receivers, great running back, young running back. I mean, good coordinators. I mean, it feels like a recipe where they could win, but that division is pretty tough now that the Broncos are winning and the Chiefs are there. Mahomes is there. So
yeah, it'll be interesting to see what the Chiefs do, like how they approach this upcoming season. Like, just speaking to like that division, like the Chiefs are not, like, the Chiefs you have to account for the Chiefs, no matter where they are.
Yeah,
The Broncos is an interesting story because they may not have a quarterback going into next season, even, right? Like I'm assuming, they're gonna have to figure something else out. So that's gonna be a challenge for them.
I'm not sure the duration of that injury, but yeah, they've got to kind of take a look at that. What's your take on the Broncos Pats game this weekend?
I just don't see a world in which I want to tread carefully here, because the reaction and the reactionary in me just wants to be like, Broncos got no shot at this.
Yeah, I mean,
Shitty has it. By the way, I love that we're talking about a quarterback and his nickname is Shitty, which I think is awesome. But you gotta have a quarterback.
I mean, a bunch of
this guy hasn't started a game since 2022, right? Something crazy like that.
Yeah, and it was against the Raiders, and it was the only good game that he's played, and he's definitely was brought in in college. I want to say he spent a little bit of time at Michigan, possibly, I can't recall, but he has talent. He's there, but I don't know, he's not going to be any good. He's not going to be any good, but at the same time, the Broncos defense is pretty stout. So, I don't know.
I do give them a home field advantage. Them being at home was the first thing that I thought about. I can't completely rule them out because they are playing at home, but I just find it hard to believe that New England is going to let that game slip away.
Yeah, maybe. I was venting to you in one of our chats about home field advantage. It just feels like these officials are just absolutely riding the home team, and it's just obnoxious. And I don't, that changes the complexion of the game. You get
but that happens. It happens. It's when you have live officiating, you're gonna have it's subjective. It's always going to be subjective. So every game has mistakes.
I'm not saying visiting teams don't win. I'm just saying Pat's got to travel, man. Pat's got to travel to one of the best defenses in the league, a top 5 defense. So, they took care of it against the Texans, who was also a top 5 defense, but also, Stroud was just an abysmal mess. So I don't know. We'll see.
So if you're, I don't know if you are, but if you were, if you're going to put money on this game, where are you going to put the money?
Pre-injury, obviously the line would probably be maybe Denver -1 or something like that with Knicks. I don't even know what it was shaping up to be. So it could be off on that. I was going to definitely, lean Broncos. Known Patriots hater here, so take that for what it is. But
Broncos even after their injury.
So with Stidham in there, I would say I'm leaning Denver, but again, it's hard to get a read on these. That's the thing about betting with playoffs. It's just you're no longer. It's some of the trends that you see just completely are out the window. So, honestly, I like to kind of just roll with it and kind of watch the games and enjoy the games for what they are, because you get stuck in a little bit of a coin flip and you just don't know what team shows up. So,
New England -5.
New England -5. No, I think I would take the Broncos with the points. Maybe just a small half unit bet and also a quarter unit bet on Broncos money line just to win it outright. But Yeah, I don't know. I don't have a strong read on it, so it's not a recommendation or a pick of the day kind of thing. But what flipping to the NFC,
Yeah.
Seattle hosting the Rams, two NFC West teams, very familiar with each other, right? Oh man.
So this is where the terrible sports bettor in me comes in, because the last thing that I want to see, and the last thing that I think a lot of America wants to see, is another team from Los Angeles winning a championship.
Yeah, I get that.
I'm pretty over it.
I get it.
Pretty over it. So I'm let's go sea chickens or whatever they call them up there.
Yeah, they're sea chickens. That's the official team. They're also, Darnold's the quarterback there. I know that he had some redemption at Minnesota, but seeing him, steer this team, and granted it's just a good all-around team, another great defense. Honestly, offensive player of the year should be kind of like Jackson Smith and Jigba is just playing unbelievable right now. Kenneth Walker running up and down these defenses. Seahawks are just fun. I would love to see them win, and go to the Super Bowl for sure. That's probably, of the four teams, that's the one that I'm rooting for the most. But honestly, I'm just rooting for the team out of the NFC. I think.
Yeah, Seattle -2.5.
Oh, so emotional bet right there. And I get it though. That's also my bet too. I'm a little bit more confident in that one than the Denver one. The Denver one's a difficult one, I think. But
what do you imagine is the harder place to play, Seattle or Denver? I think both teams have pretty significant home crowds.
What's kind of crazy is I want to say, when I saw the splits, I'll have to go take a look at this, but I want to say that Seattle's actually had more success on the road than at home, which is just kind of wild, because Seattle, the last time they were in the Super Bowl, right? That season, that was that whole 11th man stuff, right? They were just
12th man. It was 12th man. Got their man on the field. Yeah.
Okay. Well, they were that good. They played one guy short. That's how good they were. The 12th man thing, they were just super loud and all that. So I think, I still think they're going to bring it, especially against the Rams, for all the reasons you've already mentioned. But it's going to be some good games. It'll be fun to watch.
I think what the Rams did in Chicago is actually pretty impressive. There is no more fun place. I know you're going to hate me when I say this, but there is no more fun place to be than Chicago when one of Chicago's sports teams is doing well. It is a fun just energy that exists in the city, which is actually really cool.
Right,
so
I'll buy into it.
that Bears fans were for this one.
For sure.
As a Lions fan, what it feels like to go from no hope to wow, is this really happening right now? Right. So I think that's what Bears fans are going through right now. So I think for the Rams to go into that environment, give up a lead, give up a just amazing, an amazing Hail Mary, and to survive that and come out on the other end of it in overtime, I think is pretty impressive. So I don't think that Sean McVay might be the best coach in the NFL. And you can't discount that at all, I don't think.
Yeah, the Rams went into Seattle and 3 or 4 weeks ago, and they
that was that epic Thursday night game, right?
So they can do it. Absolutely. This game is going to be, honestly, that game's going to be super exciting to watch, I think. But I mean, we'll see what ends up. I mean, like the frustrating from a Lions fan perspective, it's frustrating to see the Rams, go all in the first time when they traded for Stafford and give up some picks, and they wanted a win now mode. They thought they had the pieces, so they got Stafford, sold some draft picks, went for it, and they won. And now they're already back here. And so I wish Brad Holmes at Detroit would kind of, do some of the same.
Yeah. I mean, talk about like, when have you heard the term rebuild and been optimistic that the rebuild was going to happen in 3 years?
Yeah.
As a sports, growing up as a Padres fan, like, rebuild after rebuild after rebuild after rebuild, like never ever got built.
Yeah, no.
So like that's not easy to do.
No, for sure.
That's actually really pretty. Yeah. That's really significant. For the record, just to be clear, I don't want to see another Los Angeles team even in a title game for a while.
So, do you think by cementing this on YouTube that will help your chances?
Yes.
I love it. Yeah, I agree. It's going to be a great conference championship weekend on Sunday.
Yeah, totally.
Trivia, this is sports trivia. It's a segment about a fact you don't know. Probably trivia, something super significant. Probably.
All right, let's pivot into the closing line value picks review. Here's where we're going to go through some of the big misses and some of the big hits of the past week.
It's the last week pick recap, the part of the show where we see if we're broke.
We added a full scoreboard this last week where we have the opportunity to add more picks later into the evening as we see some of the lines come out and some of the movement. Since then, we are 7 wins and 6 losses since expanding that. We're also 4-3 in the month of January. So we're putting that nonsensical November and December behind us, aren't we, Jose? What do you think about that?
Is our long national nightmare over?
I hope so.
Are we pronounce it dead or are we hedging still?
Yeah, asking for a friend. Is it good to start a betting podcast where you are under 500? Is that a good thing?
And not like, I mean, 2 months isn't the biggest sample size, but it's not.
Yeah,
it's not 2 weeks. I'm just
kidding. We started off a little rough, but I think as we said in a few of the videos, is we really kind of find our groove in conference play, and that's been on display the past couple of days, and kind of leads us into the featured pick of this last week. West Virginia hosting Colorado. Said it in the video. Really didn't understand why that was 5.5. Mountaineers just dominate at home. Colorado hasn't really shown any signs of life in the conference play, and just headed into Morgantown and never really was in it after halftime. So, I'm going to just pat myself on the back on that one. That was an easy pick there, an easy win for anyone that tailed. But on the flip side, one of the biggest regrets picks, we all have them. Penn State. Who's betting Penn State? Jose, are you betting Penn State?
I'm not betting Penn State.
Terrible idea. I don't know why I did it, but I do know why. UCLA, like I said, UCLA on the road. They just typically, especially since they joined the Big Ten, heading, cross country. Mick Cronin actually sounded off last night after beating Purdue at home about how they went cross country, came back just to get ready a couple days later to play Purdue, one of the national title contending teams. So he's clearly pretty upset about it. Which, by the way, why do you take a West Coast Big Ten team job?
Yeah, whatever. Like, he has a lot to say about a lot. Like I like Mick
Sure.
Cronin, by the way, but like his post game press conferences typically are interesting because he will be very like blunt about some things. So yeah, he's going to complain about that. Like it's valid, but it's also like it is what it is. Like that's the choice that the UCLA made when they said, "Yep, let's go to the Big Ten." I do think that I do think that this UCLA team could make a run here at some point.
Yeah.
And I think as Donovan Dent goes, so will UCLA go. And I just kind of think that after taking down Purdue and playing as well as he did, that might give him the confidence that he's needed to like pull it together this season.
Yeah, Donovan Dent showed up last night and he was defending well and hitting shots. Honestly, just really impressed with the game plan that UCLA and Cronin came up with, and the players bought into it and really just executed wonderfully to get the W.
Sometimes good teams aren't good the entire season.
Yeah.
Right. Like sometimes good teams struggle at the start because something has yet to take hold. But once that thing takes hold, like they can be amazing. And I just feel like if there's a team that could do that, it could be UCLA this year.
Yeah. I mean, UCLA's, they've lost to a lot of good teams: Arizona, Gonzaga, Iowa, Wisconsin, and Ohio State. All of those on the road, except for the Arizona game, I think. They've played.
How many teams are beating Arizona right now?
Yeah, no, exactly. Like Arizona is just a buzzsaw. But yeah, five road games to start, or five of the 8 conference games for UCLA were on the road. So I mean, they've got that working in their favor. They can, I think 4 of the next 5 are at home, so they could really parlay that Purdue win into some Big Ten success and confidence for that team. They've got a lot of talent on it, so I mean, they're not devoid of that confidence. But seeing it result in some wins, conference wise, is could really catapult them into the conversation. But it's a gauntlet of a Big Ten season, so we'll see.
Yeah, I mean, I probably see more for them as an, obviously an at-large, just getting hot at the right time and, pushing their way into the Elite Eight and, who knows from there.
I mean, honestly, it's always about the way the bracket shapes up too, and we'll see.
Yeah, and how they're playing at the end of the season.
Whew. That's going to be interesting. Sorry, Nick. I don't know.
Looking ahead to next week's matchup. We're looking ahead to the games. We hope the picks are better this time, or my wife is gonna leave me. She's really gonna leave me. She's really gonna leave me.
First question: what are the games to keep an eye on in the coming week?
There's actually a decent week coming ahead now that we're really going full force into conference play. But I'm looking at Houston at Texas Tech. I think that's on Saturday. It's this weekend.
Saturday.
And then early next week we have Arizona at BYU and Nebraska at Michigan. So from a college basketball fan, all 3 games will be absolutely electric. Like you can't. That's some can't miss basketball on all 3 fronts. You have to imagine all 3, kind of end up pretty close.
Are all of those teams Final Four candidates? Arizona, BYU, Nebraska, Michigan, Houston, Texas Tech.
So, I mean, I think going into the season, so the answer to the question is I would say yes. Going into the going into the season, I think the only one that you would say no to would be Nebraska. They're undefeated. They have the 18th. They have a weak conference strength of schedule, so they only play Michigan State once, Michigan once, and I think Purdue once. Illinois twice. They beat them on the road. So I mean, Nebraska has a very strong chance at winning the Big Ten, which is pretty surprising considering Michigan's having an unbelievable season. Michigan State, the Big Ten champs, runner-up, they're having one of the best seasons under Izzo right now. Purdue has All-Americans galore, and Illinois has half of Croatia and Serbia playing for their team. So I mean, they're a semi-pro team, and they look good too. So it's like, it's crazy to see Nebraska playing this well and maybe being the value play for the conference, which, by the way, I got in today at plus 550. Wanted to get in earlier, but I didn't, and now I'm kicking myself. So we'll see. But I think the game that I'm most excited for is Arizona at BYU. I just think that you've got 2 top 5 NBA lottery picks, and Diabonsa at BYU and
Koa Pete.
And Koa Pete. Yes, sorry, Koa Pete. So I mean, just exciting. Like, both just tremendous offenses, and it should be an up and down game. I mean, I'm just excited to watch that one a lot. And then kind of the Texas Tech game, they've got Toppin and Anderson playing lights out right now. I mean, they're accounting for the bulk of the offense at Texas Tech, and they're starting to cruise at the right time. They're one of the teams that I picked to go to the Final Four, and I could very well see them rounding into shape, like you had said before. Momentum, right? You get into the playoffs, ride that momentum. So I mean, Texas Tech could be that team that does that. So to answer your question, I would say I'm going to bet one of these 3 games. I'm taking Texas Tech to cover. Well, I'm not sure what that spread will be because it's still too early, but Ken Palm has it at a 1-point game. So I think Texas Tech money line, Texas Tech -2. They've only lost 1 game, or Houston's only lost 1 game at against Tennessee. Texas Tech has lost 4 total games, but to all good teams. They've already played Houston once, and it was a 4-point loss in Houston. And I think that Texas Tech is really rounding into form a little bit more, and I think they do enough to get the job done. So of those 3 games, that's the one that I'm betting.
All right. I live in a Mountain West Conference town, so I would be remiss if I passed up an opportunity to talk about the Mountain West Conference. But it'll be interesting to see what Utah State does on Friday at Colorado State.
Yeah.
Utah State's lost 2 in a row. If for a minute there, they and San Diego State were just like step and step at the top of the Mountain West Conference. San Diego State has stayed undefeated, and Utah State has lost twice in a row, including giving up a 14-point lead and losing to Grand Canyon the other night. So it's all teams have a lull at some point during the season. So it'll be interesting to see how Utah State handles this blip, if it is a blip, and then what that means for the conference the rest of the way, because San Diego State is currently undefeated, and they're 2 games up in the conference, which is a pretty nice position to be at, but still got to play Utah State twice. Gonna have to play New Mexico again. So the race in the Mountain West is kind of interesting right now.
Yeah, the Mountain West, the last couple of years has been one of the most exciting conferences to watch. Like, all of the games. I mean, outside of a couple outliers, maybe like Air Force or something.
Yes. Wyoming and Air Force isn't quite the doesn't have the wattage that you would hope in a college basketball game.
But I mean, like literally, like the top 6 or 7 or 8, like has put together some like really competitive games and really exciting to watch. So yeah, Utah State. I mean, total head scratcher losing to UNLV, but maybe they were looking ahead at the CSU game. You know, I don't know. It'll be a good game.
I mean, yeah. It'll be interesting. What I'm looking for is like, how does Utah State respond to their little losing streak here?
Yeah. What day is that on?
That's Friday.
Friday? Yeah, got to tune into that one for sure.
And if you had to put money on the Nebraska Michigan game, where would you put your money on that?
So that great question. I think Michigan against the spread since Big Ten play has been pretty abysmal. Like and it's partially because they were beating teams so badly in non-conference that it was, I mean, they had like 15, 16, 18, 20 point spreads against decent bubble teams, right? Like, so last 5, they haven't covered the last 5. They haven't covered the last 6. Yeah. Michigan's last 6 conference games, they haven't covered. Like, and part of that is being ballooned by just destroying teams, mopping teams in that tournament in Vegas, the Players Era tournament. And then they just, you know, they had to get these spreads that were 25, 22, 24, you know, and they weren't covering. Actually, though, they did cover against USC. But other than that, like, I think 5 of the last 6, they didn't cover it in conference. So it's tough. And right now, betting against Nebraska is a fool's errand. Like, but that's usually the time to you know, regression is coming, right? Vegas responds, they adjust their lines, you know.
So what you're telling me is you want to put your money on Michigan. Is that what you're saying?
Well, I don't know if I can actually ever say those words. But see, Ken Pom has a 10-point Michigan win over Nebraska. If you're telling me I get Nebraska plus 10 against almost any team, I mean, I feel like I would be taking it, but I probably still, if it's Michigan minus 10, oh God, I'm taking Michigan. I don't know. And I think
Michigan minus 10, you're taking Michigan minus 10.
Yeah. Although yesterday there's 6 games that I bet. I picked 4 underdogs and 2 favorites. In all 6 games, the underdog covered. So I think it's easy to look at those lines and be like, oh, sure, they'll win by 10, they'll win by 8, they'll win by 6, whatever. The money's in the underdogs, but I think Michigan they probably got this one circled, and they probably come out the gates hot, and Mara, Landenberg, just kind of cruise. And I think this is maybe where Nebraska's Cinderella story, undefeated wise, kind of comes to an end. But clearly they're making the tournament, and they're for real. So that top 5, top 6 of the Big Ten is just murderer's row.
We're potentially entering an era where Indiana is notable in college football, and Nebraska is notable in college basketball.
That's hilarious.
Isn't that a clever turn?
Yeah. If I were to tell you that 5 years ago, you'd call me crazy. So here we are. Yeah, it's nuts.
But it's fun. It's just fun. It is fun that, number one, it's fun that it's not the SEC. Let's be honest. But it's just fun that this is probably the good thing about what's taking place in sports today, is that it's really fun to see, like, somebody comes in and you build an entire program and you build a system that works. and just to like the like entrepreneur in me is just like really curious and interested about that and thinks that it's really awesome that like Curt Cignetti could come in and do what he did. Like that's pretty impressive, right? So like it is fun to be aware of that and like to like study that and pay attention to it. It's a nice like feature of being a sports fan.
Yeah, you nailed it. It's in this era where like kind of college sports is kind of deviating a little bit. It's good to see Curt Cignetti and that type of hire to turn things around. You can be, it's crazy to consider Indiana an underdog, but in the college football world, they were, and they turned it around in a couple of years. So despite all that's happening, it's still possible. Despite some of the madness that's happening in college athletics, there's still that Cinderella story. There's still the excitement. There's still the awesome storylines. So it's fun to see that. Yeah, so many good games coming up this week. Really excited to, just watch them as a fan, but also kind of sprinkle in some of those bets, which we'll get some picks out there here and there throughout the week as well. That's I think that's all we got for this segment here. Jose, great chatting with you. Thanks for making it happen.
Yeah, buddy, that was fun. Let's do it again.
Yeah, you know what? Maybe we do this weekly. Who knows? Hey, cheers, buddy.
Cheers.
Ahead of the spread. Trivia, this is sports trivia. Thought we forgot about the trivia, probably. Trivia. Did you get it right? Probably. Trivia. Did you get it right? Probably.